All set, Mr. Chair.
Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion regarding the closed session we just had.
I'll make a motion that we return to open meetings and close the closed session.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a support. Any further discussion? Patty, could I get a roll call again, please?
Yes.
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 Okay, we are back from closed session. At this time, I would entertain a motion regarding the minutes in question for the closed session.
I move to approve the minutes as amended in closed session.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, no, let's just go ahead and do a roll call for those two.
Yes.
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 Okay. Closed session minutes approved. Moving on, at this time, any member updates from any boards that you serve on at our behest?
Trustee Walker and I attended the SEMCOG General Assembly meeting that was held in Troy. And we both took a couple different courses, listened to a couple different things, and got some good information out of it. And one of the things that I picked up, and I shared this with the township manager earlier, is one of the sessions they had a opportunity, they were talking, the session wasn't necessarily important in terms of what we want to talk about, was transportation accessibility in Southeast Michigan. But what the person who was presenting had a live feed from a poll company, P-O-L-L, polling company, that people could click on a QR code and get it on their phone, and then he would ask a question, and people could respond on the spot from their phone, from the audience, and they see a live feed of the results of that question. And I thought this was pretty cool and pretty neat, and be great for our master plan workshops and things we're talking about, where we can ask these questions, have people respond there from it, and get a live feed on it. And that could even be done streaming, because all they have to do is get the QR code on their phone, and they could answer questions. We may not have the interaction, but they can answer how they would respond to this, or what they would like to see, what they wouldn't want to see, whatever the questions are. And I thought it was excellent opportunity for firsthand communication opportunity and results of what people feel, to the question. So that's pretty good.
Excellent, I am intrigued.
Are you both on the SEMCOG board?
He is on the alternate. For the General Assembly meeting, the annual meeting, Trustee Walker felt it was appropriate for me to be at that as well.
That way, if I'm not able to attend a SEMCOG meeting, there's familiar faces and familiar processes.
Yeah, that's our one big meeting of the year, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, there were multiple classes going on
Right,
at the
there
same
was-
time. This allowed us to
Yeah,
participate.
There was 6 of them, we were able to cover 4 of them.
Yes. Thank you.
Nothing else on member updates?
And the ZBA does not have a meeting this month because we don't have anyone making petitions. So it's 2 months in a row.
Good. On my HAPR board sits somebody from the Howell Parks and, Howell Parks and Rec. And he's on the Howell City board and the Fire and Ice project. Have you heard about that? Ice skating and fire and all that stuff. Delayed. They're chipping away. That's all I know about that. And I think the Howell Township is gonna get a new building. The Howell Township, Howard Genoa Township, Howell Township. I think they're getting a new building. So that's kind of exciting.
Interesting.
So I attended the CPR AED training. It was 2 hours long. We had 4 deputies. Here, they kind of split us off into groups of 5 or 6 people. They had the adult-sized mannequin, and then they had the infant style, little mannequins, and they taught us the difference between compression and rate and breathing and your steps. It was very well presented. We actually finished in about 2 hours. There was 20-some of us here. They did pass out a course evaluation sheet where you could put your comments and rate them. I haven't received, I had asked Lieutenant Matt Young to, hey, if you do get these things, I'd like to find out. I can tell you what I thought about it, but looking around and just hearing the comments, I think everybody thought it was pretty valuable training to take.
What was your expectation in terms of number of people that were gonna show up for it? Or did you
Well,
have
we
a-
had it limited to 30
Okay.
because you can only have like 6 people for 5 trainers. And Kelly communicated to me, I communicated that we didn't have enough for all 5. So the 4 trainers could do the 23 of us.
Okay.
I kind of thought we would get the full 30. But I mean, 20-something's pretty good.
That's 20 more people that can save a life.
That's right.
Absolutely. A lot of good feedback on that,
Yeah.
on that class. I
Yeah.
plan to attend the next one, or
So was
Glad
it
it was
third
so
one.
well attended.
Yeah.
just CPR or CPR and those AEDs?
And the AEDs.
So anybody can, if you, like, you know how to use an AED, you could do it now?
The ones, the technologically advanced ones, okay? They talk you through it. Turn power on, move, put
So like
pads
the one
on.
here, it tells you like what to
It
do?
talks to you,
Really?
clear, and
Okay.
it'll say it's evaluating. It's gonna tell you if the person needs another shock or not. So you just be quiet for a few seconds, you stop compressions, and it'll say continue CPR. So you don't need to shock again. You just follow the machine. And so I asked, I said, hey, we got fire extinguishers, we probably got, smoke detectors in here. What if I wanted an AED at my house? He goes, they're a few $1,000s. Nope. sorry. I like them, but they're very expensive to get the nice ones here.
But there's one here, right, in the
There
building?
may be, I don't know where one is.
Is there one
in
here, in the building?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is.
It's up just inside that front desk.
My son always, he had a class about that in high school, and he said that you do the compressions to the beat of Staying Alive.
Well, that's interesting.
Somebody said that, and he said that's about right.
Yeah, remember that
Easy
song?
way to remember it.
Yeah. It's,
Interesting.
pretty fast.
So there are 2 more training sessions specifically for CPR AED. One's, I think, in April, and the other one might be in February. I'd have to look at our schedule, so if
I believe it's
anybody's interested.
January
Okay,
and March.
okay, I was off
pretty good.
30 days. But then when you register in, you give them your name and your address and everything, and if you go to the American Heart Association, use the email that you gave them, you can get your certification card so that you are a card-carrying
Okay.
administrator of CPR and AED use.
All right, nice. How did Coffee with the Cop go?
So we didn't have a ton of attendance, but Mr. Westair was with us. And
Only 2?
yeah,
I knew I should have walked down here that day. I was busy.
and we had all the big guys
had
too.
3.
We had much leadership in the room. Even though it was not well attended, I feel it was a very productive session.
We had plenty of questions for them regardless of the small group.
Good.
Yeah, we kept them on their toes.
Like, what'd you ask? What's an example?
How do I get out of the speeding ticket?
Yeah.
Donuts do you like?
I mean, they covered a lot of items. We talked about traffic patterns, fatalities, coverage, based on the different townships and such. It was interesting.
Nice.
And our next session coming up, which will be the 4th Monday in November, I believe that to be the 22nd, but I could be wrong. We will have a sign up for, but it is going to be avoiding financial scams
Right in
and
time
things
for
like that.
Christmas.
And we have capacity for 55, I believe they set on that one. So we'll get a sign up out. We'll start promoting that heavily on the socials, and we hope everybody comes and participates. Those are really well done courses. The sheriff does a really good job with those.
And they're putting those on as well,
What's that?
the scams?
What about
The
it?
Sheriffs,
scam, the
yes.
financial scams, they're doing
Oh.
those too? Because I went to one from a woman that does all that for Bank of Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
That was, you know,
yeah, they're,
interesting.
we kind of talked about a couple things they were familiar with that I'm sure they're gonna talk about there as well.
What's the date on that?
It's the fourth Monday of
24th, I think.
November, which I should know what that is. I do not, I would believe,
It's the 24th.
okay, 24th, yeah, I was just gonna say since Thanksgiving is the 27th,
And that's at what time?
6:30, same as our meetings.
Oh, yeah, 6:30.
We're trying to make things simple.
Okay.
Any further member updates?
Yeah, so November is Veteran Appreciation Month. There's a local nonprofit called Veterans Connected. On 15 November, it's a Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now, from noon to 4, they're hosting an event called Fill the Trailer. It's gonna be in the parking lot of Howell at Latson and Grand River. All the food donations will be distributed by Bountiful Harvest. And like box stuffing, instant mashed potatoes, gravy packets, things of that nature are requested. They're a good organization.
So Latson and Grand River, it's gonna be in one of the parking lots,
The
right?
parking lot of Walmart.
Walmart?
Yeah. Yep, 15 November from noon to 4. Veterans Connected. Fill the trailer.
Excellent, thank you for that. Anything further? With that, then we'll move on to board comments.
Mr. Supervisor, can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
You know, I listened to the call to the public, and there were a number of people that made some factual statements and asked for certain action by the board regarding, disciplinary action. I would caution everybody on the board to be careful what you say or write, because if it's not factually accurate, just because you said it here, it is not privilege. It is still subject to a defamation claim. And so I'm very much concerned in what I heard and if that's going to be relayed out again as fact. What I did hear is that there's two sides to the story. There may be more. And to make a statement of something that this is fact when you don't know it to be true, I would caution everyone not to do that, because there can be ramifications for that.
Don't fuel the fire.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep. Well, but it's more than that. I mean, it's not just fuel the fire, but if you don't know or you know that it's not accurate, that exposes the person who is uttering it to some adverse sanctions and lawsuits, stuff like that.
I do want to say I was very disappointed by the call to the public tonight. The public is free to say whatever they want, absolutely. I would prefer that in the future, people direct their venom at us sitting here, and not any of our employees. Our employees don't seek that out. They're not elected, they're not punching bags for the public. They do their jobs, they do their jobs well. If you're upset, be upset at us. Our employees do not deserve to be treated like that, and our manager was treated very poorly, and that upsets me immensely. She does a phenomenal job for our township. Her knowledge is second to none. We would be in deep, deep trouble without her knowledge and abilities of the workings of the government. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, and I will take the moment to thank Kelly for everything she does. And you absolutely did not deserve what you got tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you. And
Agreed.
really hard to sit and listen to accusations like that. I would encourage anyone who has any questions about the way that this office operates or the treatment of Ms. Deaton, please reach out to me to hear my side of the story, because there's always two sides to every story, and there are very different views on this. We worked really, really hard to support her in her role We wanted nothing but for her to be successful. I started meeting with her in August after she won the primary, and did a lot of things to help make her successful. And I know that she's obviously blaming me for leaving, but there is another side to the story that was presented to you this evening, and I would just encourage folks to reach out to me if you really truly do care, to hear the other side.
Or I am always available, supervisor@genoa.org. I will answer any questions. I was not interested in having it out in the newspapers. That was a poor choice. We didn't make it, but we also didn't participate in it. So with that, I would entertain a motion to
I
adjourn.
just have one
Okay.
last comment. Kevin, when you gave us 5 minutes, a little bit of a break right here, I immediately stood up and left the room. There was a resident here, her name was Stephanie Booth. She called me out in the meeting, and I remember that. What she said was true. And the reason I stepped out was to try and hurry up and catch her before she left and got in her car to just apologize to her face to face, because I did say those things. It was something that I felt on my heart that I had to go and apologize to her face to face. So I wasn't bailing out there to her, it was just to catch her before she got in her car and offer my apologies to her, so.
No problem. It was a recess. We were free to go.
Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You missed an impassioned plea by fantastic.
Well, I caught the end of it, thank you.
It was an excellent speech, by the way. With that,
Can I ask a question? Can I, just as an observer, I don't know if I'm a conscientious observer or what, but just as an observer, is this the same board we elected a year ago that's sitting here tonight?
It
I would
is.
assume it is.
That's correct.
What I read in the paper somewhat raises the question that some poor decisions are being made by this board, and that this township hall is a dysfunction junction, and some serious allegations were made against people that work here and people that were elected. And I know we live in a world, in a society, I speak for America now, where truth is relative. And the only thing, and I brought in Nixon in my comments, because we need to know we do not need to know specific incidents. We need to know that there is a process in place where there are grievances, people can go to appropriate places to address those, and that the institution will be just in handling them openly and honestly based on facts. We as citizens, we just don't know what goes on except for what we read in a local paper that we don't have, or what we see on Facebook or other social medias. And with AI now, it's so hard to get to the bottom of what's going on. But I know one thing, that Janine was elected by me. And I feel terrible that she's no longer there because I needed her voice. Nothing to do with conservatives or liberals or political ideologies. It just has to do with efficient and effective local government that takes care of its people and is worried about that every Genoa Township resident gets a fair shake. Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, progressive, whatever, communist, socialist, they live in this country, they're citizens. You guys represent us all.
okay, so just keep in mind, she quit on you. We did not quit her on you. She quit on you by choice.
Again, I'm only going from what I've read in the paper.
Yep.
Well, and
And I think it is just my opinion, I'm gonna ask the attorney now, but just my opinion that I've been in situations like that as an assistant principal where certain parents wanted me fired because I was following the school policy and their kids were constantly getting in trouble. Or certain parents wanted certain books burned, and I felt that a librarian was far more qualified by her training or his training to decide what books should be in our library, and not just a parent that conceived a child, but not always understands how school is taught, I guess, and what information should be available. So getting back to this board, it is incumbent upon the leadership people in the Genoa Township not to get into details, but rather get into the process and what is maybe sometimes it's best to leave things alone and not say anything, because there might be a lawsuit. I think that's what you were alluding to. There might be a problem down the road, so we have to be careful what we say. And you're absolutely correct in that, because everybody's suing everybody nowadays, including the president's gonna get $250 million back from us taxpayers for what he had to pay the suits that he was in court for. I don't know whether you guys will be able to get your money back from the suits. I'm being facetious now, but the point, my thing is, as I speak to other people out in the community, I always ask them, where did you get your information? Where did you hear that? Have you talked to Kelly? Have you talked to Kelly? Have you talked to Rick?
And nobody did.
And well, yeah, you see, we have more questions than answers most of the time. And it's so important, because truth eventually will come out. Facts will eventually come out.
So, Ben, let me point out something to you. First of all, everybody has a voice. Everybody has the right to be heard.
Yes,
You may not always get what you want.
yes.
That has to be clear. This is a board of 7, and for the clerk to say that we make bad decisions, that was her one opinion of a bad decision, not the entire board. So sometimes it's frustrating when people feel strong about stuff, and Janine felt strong about a lot of things. When you feel strong about something, not to get your way, but it's a board, and that's there on purpose that way. So it isn't a dictatorship or whatever. It is a board decision. So you're not always going to get what you want. You always have a voice.
Democracies are messy,
That's right.
and each generation has to fight to keep it.
That's right.
If there is a specific action we took, I would be happy to explain the reason I voted the way I did. Anyone can contact me anytime. Supervisor@genoa.org.
Same.
Robin is treasurer@genoa.org. Everybody else is.
Robin@genoa.org.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Robin's special. She's been here for so long.
Anyway,
So, yeah.
On that note,
Yep.
I would like to move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:55 PM.